Welcome to InstantGMP. Welcome to the InstantGMP compliance series for dietary supplements on how to improve specifications. The quality manufacturing experts at InstantGMP prepared this GMP compliance series of presentations to review good manufacturing practices and CGMP compliance for dietary supplement manufacturing. Our experts hope these presentations will help you avoid any CGMP compliance issues in your facility. A common reason for the FDA to issue warning letters to dietary supplement companies was due to the lack of specifications or failure to meet specifications. This presentation describes how to implement and improve specifications. FDA inspectors have issued many warning letters citing dietary supplement manufacturers for failure to set specifications for identity, purity, strength, and composition for each component used in manufacturing. Such specifications were also not established for the finished product. Specifications must be set and met for all dietary ingredients, raw materials, and packaging components. Failure to set or meet specifications can lead to regulatory actions such as an injunction. Setting up specifications is necessary to make sure it can be verified that the finished product meet the company's requirements for identity, purity, strength, and composition. This identity specification is necessary to make sure that the final product contains the right ingredients or components. The strength specification allows you to calculate how much of an ingredient or component should be added. Setting up specs for purity or for cleaning and sanitizing equipment before use in a batch can prevent contamination that may lead to adulteration of the finished batch. Specifications have to be established for components, in-process production, labels and packaging, the finished batch of dietary supplement, product received from a supplier for packaging and labeling, and the packaging and labeling for the finished packaged and labeled dietary supplement. There are various elements or parts to specifications. For each critical attribute, there needs to be a test such as a potency or water content test. For each test, there must be a tested method of procedure by which the quality attribute is measured. Each test and method combination needs an acceptance limit which defines the acceptable range for the attribute. Some other requirements include descriptions for the safety and handling of the component and sampling instructions that the quality group will follow when sampling for testing. An identity specification is required for each component used in the manufacture of a dietary supplement. A specification for identity may include more than one attribute. For example, a specification for the identity of a salt used in the manufacture of a vitamin product may include physical characteristics such as state of matter, whether it's powder, brittle, solid, the color, or even the state of hydration. A specification for the identity of a botanical might include the part of the plant, e.g. roots or leaves, the color, and whether the part of the plant is in the native state or has been ground or extracted from. Component specifications are necessary to ensure the final product meets specifications for the purity, strength, and composition. Component specifications are necessary to ensure that the final product meets specifications for the purity, strength, and composition. Limits on acceptable contamination of these properties must be established to prevent adulteration of the finished batch. Specifications for vitamins or minerals might include identification, assay, appearance, odor, solubility, melting point, loss on drying or residue on ignition, heavy metals, or organic volatile impurities. No specifications have to be set for the identity, purity, strength, or composition of the various constituents that are inherently present in a natural product such as a botanical. However, the identity of the botanical has to be confirmed. This can include establishing the identity of the part of the plant used and the color and the odor. A comparison to an authentic representative plant will be useful here. The regulations are very specific about establishing specifications for in-process production steps where control is necessary to ensure quality. If process steps like heating or cooling are critical to make a product that meets final specifications, then these steps have to be controlled. Likewise, if there is a certain piece of equipment that has to be cleaned or sanitized after handling certain raw materials to eliminate microbial contamination, then a specification has to be set. This is needed to make sure that the products made with that equipment do not exceed their limits for contaminants. The same is true for a production step where cross-contamination might occur or where the specialized environmental precautions or aseptic techniques are necessary. It is imperative to verify that a finished batch of dietary supplement meets product specifications for identity, purity, strength, composition, and for limits on contamination. Product specifications may be exempt from verification if it is determined that there is no scientifically valid method for testing or examining the specification at the finished batch stage, having provided adequate documentation of scientific basis for which, while meeting the in-process specifications, in combination with meeting component specifications, will help ensure that specifications are met in the final product. Precautions must be taken during manufacturing to prevent adulteration of the final product. Important steps include eliminating risk of microbial contamination from raw materials and to clean and/or sanitize critical equipment. Components and equipment that may come in contact with microorganisms via the environment and certain raw materials must be tested for contamination. You will need to use established specifications and appropriate tests to limit the contaminants that could be introduced into the batch. Specifications must ensure that dietary supplement is packaged and labeled as specified in the master production record and ensure that the label you specify in the master manufacturing record is applied to the product. Manufacturers have to establish specifications for dietary supplement labels and for packaging that may come in contact with dietary supplements. Before packaging can be used, at least a visual identification test of the containers and closures must be conducted. It must be determined that whether packaging specifications were met and that the product received is consistent with the purchase order. Some specifications are not needed for dietary supplements. For example, tests for dissolution, disintegration, and bioavailability of dietary supplements are examples of areas where scientific study is still evolving. Thus, it is premature to impose requirements for such tests. For botanicals, there are a variety of constituents that are normally present in a natural product. Specifications are not needed for these. A product specification may be exempted if it can be proven that the specifications in question cannot verify that the product meets all product specifications and there is no scientifically valid method for testing or examining the exempted product specifications at the finished batch stage. Proof of other information, such as component and in-process testing, will determine whether the exempted product specification can be met without finished batch testing. Here's an example of a specification. It has the information about safety and handling, sample instructions, and testing requirements. For each test, there is a method and acceptance limit that ensure the products that is to be delivered to the customer meets the company's quality standards. InstantGMP makes specifications and GMP compliance easy. This web-based all-in-one manufacturing and quality system has a complete electronic specification system with version control. It seamlessly blends specification control with everything else necessary for GMP manufacturing. It uses built-in quality procedures to check and control GMP compliance at multiple steps throughout the application. Most of all, it provides opportunities for increased flexibility, visibility, and productivity in your manufacturing operation. This presentation is just one of the many videos and webinars available on CGMP compliance. You can access the rest at the GMP Certification Resource Center. Thank you and have a wonderful day.